Insulin is like water. Insulin is like water for all the rest of us. For people with diabetes, they need it to live. So this is a situation like, you live in a desert town somewhere, isolated from anything, and there's 3 water companies, and they all sell you water, and there's nowhere else to go and nowhere else to turn to. It's like an old Western movie where the entire town is under the thumb of, 3 or 4 folks. And in this scenario, the sheriff is sitting there chewing his toothpick at the bar, doing nothing. That's kind of the world we've got right now. My name is Vikas Saini. I'm the president of the Lown Institute, and I'm co-chair of the Right Care Alliance. Insulin is a substance the body produces, and the body produces it so that we, all of us, can process the foods we eat, and in particular process the sugars we eat, so that all our body can use those sugars for energy and to stay alive. In diabetes, that becomes a serious problem because insulin either stops working or stops being produced. Type 1 diabetes is a condition that affects mostly young people. Type 2 diabetes affects older people, and it involves a lack of capacity of the insulin that they are producing from actually doing its job. When someone with type 1 diabetes doesn't take their insulin, they can get very, very sick. First of all, it can cause a lot more symptoms of excess peeing, being thirsty, being hungry. It also causes biochemical abnormalities, and those are the ones that over, short periods of time can be life-threatening. They can find their blood is getting more acid. They can find that their ability to think clearly is going away, and eventually they can get so sick they can become unconscious and die. Before Banting and Best purified insulin, if you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, that was a death sentence. So this discovery and this medication is one of the miracles of modern medicine. They did this out of a passion to figure something out that they knew was going to affect people's lives. And they were concerned that it not be overpriced. At first, they weren't even going to patent it, but then they realized that if they didn't and someone else did, they wouldn't have the control they hoped to have. So they actually patented with the University of Toronto. That was 100 years ago. Now, insulin costs anywhere from $500 to several $1,000s for a month for any given individual. 20 years ago, some of the commonest insulins like Humalog, Lantus, Novolog, these were all $25 to $30, $35 a vial. Over 20 years, those prices have gone up 1,000%. They now sell for $250 a vial. That's the list price. And when they do that over the last 20 years, there has been no major innovation in this product. Today and for many years, there's been essentially an oligopoly of 3 providers, 3 manufacturers, Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, and Sanofi. And those 3 control the vast majority of the market for insulin, somewhere over 90%. The total number of people in America that are really dependent on insulin to manage their diabetes is about 7 million. It's really become harder and harder for people to afford their insulin. The out-of-pocket costs for patients, even with insurance coverage, are rising higher and higher. A lot of things have started to happen that I've learned about, and I'm honestly, frankly, just shocked to hear what I've learned. So we know of at least 3 people, young people, who've died rationing their insulin. Antavia Lee Worsham, her mom didn't know. She died.
The candles burn as bright as the memory of 22-year-old Antavia Lee Worsham, died from type 1 diabetes.
Shane Boyle was a guy who moved to Arkansas to take care of his ailing mother. And when he did that, he didn't have work. He didn't have insurance coverage. So he started a GoFundMe page. And that GoFundMe page was raising money for his insulin while he was taking care of his dying mother. She died. He died a week later, $50 short on his GoFundMe page. Alec Rashawn Smith aged out of the family insurance at age 26, and he was shopping around for health care coverage. He found that the insurance he could afford was going to have a $7,000 deductible. And he decided, okay, well, while I keep looking for the right plan, I'll just pay for my own insulin. He went to the pharmacy and was quoted a price of $1,200 for that month. He couldn't afford it. He started rationing. His mom didn't know this. His girlfriend didn't know this. He was doing fine until one weekend they couldn't reach him and they found him dead at home. These are fits of desperation, and in the most powerful, richest country in the world, they're an embarrassment. There's a sort of black market in insulin. People use expired insulin. People swap insulin. Online communities will collect insulin and ship it off to one of their own somewhere else, strangers who just need this. I mean, it's sort of digital panhandling. If you go to GoFundMe and just punch in insulin, you'll get 5,000, 8,000 hits of people trying to raise money for their insulin. That's what we've come to. The first time I saw that, it really was heartbreaking. When I saw a GoFundMe page for insulin, it kind of made me want to weep, really.
Create new bidding procedures for the drug industry because they're getting away with murder. Pharma.
President Trump appointed Alex Azar as Secretary of Health and Human Services. Alex Azar was the former CEO of Eli Lilly, the very company that got the first insulin patent, and one of the 3 that has been raising prices in lockstep. The thing about Alex Azar is that while he could be bringing a lot of insider knowledge, it looks more like the foxes guarding the henhouse. There's an opportunity for Mr. Azar to go down in the history books, but so far I haven't seen it. In fact, he's pointed fingers at the pharmaceutical benefits managers. That's okay, I would do that too, but I think he and other insulin and pharma manufacturers need to look in the mirror. This is not a functioning market, it's a broken market. There's no transparency. The main driver is the Benjamins. It's really the money. It's not about anything else that's driving these changes. A study was done and estimates that to manufacture the really basic older human form of insulin is probably about $1 to $3 a vial. And to manufacture the newer insulins is about $3 to $6 a vial. $3 to $6 a vial, they sell it list price $250 a vial. That's the kind of 5,000% markup that we're seeing. And we see that because they can get away with it. There are no adults in the room. When you have a product that's priced so high that your customers are dying because they can't afford it, that ain't right. That's not how we do things. That's not how we should be doing things. It's high time all of us got together because we can't wait. People are dying as we do this. So what we have to do is band together and reach out and take action now. The Right Care Alliance has taken up this issue of insulin through mobilization and serious pressure on everybody. Today we're here to say enough. We need pressure on the companies, we need pressure on the government, we need pressure on the regulators, and it's not going to happen by itself. I mean, if it were, it would have. So our view is that we need the healthcare system that really puts people first and puts profit and money making second. And that's what the Right Care Alliance is all about. The more we've learned and the more we have put the message out, as others have, the more the American public has been getting outraged. But I tell you, as complicated as it is, it's really not that complicated. It's pretty simple. And so that countervailing force, if it's going to exist, it's going to have to be created by people. It's not going to happen by itself. Illness in general is not something anybody opts for. It's not something they wish on themselves. And in that sense, it's like a natural disaster. It just comes. It happens. It's not predictable. And you know, in natural disasters, I mean, in a hurricane, we help each other. We don't say you're on your own. That's not how we do it. And that's how we have to start thinking about health and health care. That's what we need, and that's what'll get us across the finish line.